Hey there, amazing viewers. Welcome back to our YouTube channel where we bring you your favorite manhwa recaps. Did you know that more than 90% of our viewers have not subscribed yet? So please, if you're enjoying our videos and want to be part of our awesome community, now is the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. Joining our subscriber family means you'll never miss out on any of our exciting content. So, take a quick second to click that big red subscribe button below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay notified whenever we release a new video. Enjoy watching and stay awesome. Back in 2065, the newcomer Lu Feng entered the Black Ruins city of Shadow World, and as a result, he was trapped there until this day, constantly reincarnating for 3,000 years. No matter how many times he died, it would all start over again exactly at 6 in the morning. In order to pass the long time, he mastered all the professions in the Shadow World. But while doing so, all of a sudden, a new day came after a certain boss battle. One day, there was a man named Lu Feng. Lu Feng is a newbie in the Shadow World. He is currently on level 9 and his profession and title were none. His undistributed attribute has 0.300% health points, 200% magic points, 30% strengths, 15% physiques, 20% agilities, 30% wisdoms, 15% intelligences, and 21% charm. Lu Feng has been protected by his seniors all along. Lu Feng's team looked fearless in the battle with a mage who powers up their defense to make sure the newbies won't die before them. Everyone holds still as they were charging up. In every battle Lu Feng faced, their victory relies on his last kill. Lu Feng effortlessly slashed a giant steel monster and managed to kill the demons who outnumbered him every single time. Lu Feng's backup team was aghast to witness a low-rank newbie who fights godlike in the battle. Lu Feng really was a newbie, but he was trapped on that day for 3,000 years. It was a dimensional adventure for Lu Feng to live the same day every day. But it brings him an Awakener's new hope. Lu Feng even studied hard and learned how to perform surgery for someone dearest to him. But he also learned several skills for the past 3,000 years such as flying a jet ski, programming, a surgeon, and masters the game of Go. Lu Feng gained more power. On their current mission, Lu Feng's team struggled with their battle against demons since the combat agility of the monsters were stronger than a C rank. Lu Feng faced several life-threatening situations like being attacked by the monsters all at once. Lu Feng even experienced being betrayed by a traitor named Demon. Lu Feng learned many things in 3,000 years that he could predict where the monsters will attack. Yet, Lu Feng still couldn't save his companions. But the day has come for Lu Feng to decide to change his destiny. Lu Feng plans to lead his companions and destroy the shadow to obtain freedom. The incident took place in the Shadow World of Black Ruins City. 5 years ago, many dimensional portals known as gates appeared on Earth, and through the gates, humans could enter different levels of the Shadow World. The demons who terrorized the city were known as Awakeners among humans chosen by the Shadow World. They have the opportunity to obtain greater power but at the risk of losing their lives any time. One of Lu Feng's companion is Su Tao, the mage in the team. She was about to be attacked by the monster, but the monster's attack was blocked. The monster was then slashed in half. The one who saved Su Tao is also their companion named Luozu the swordswoman. She comforted Su Tao and promised her that they'll get out alive. On the other hand, the team also has a fighter named Anya. She began to worry since more monsters appear when they kill one. She also worries for their powers are being decreased from the constant fighting. And with Anya as one of the veterans in the team, he is a warrior named Zhao Haishan. Haishan was a bit exhausted, but he laughed it all off as he fought the demon, thinking his wish to live until 70 would be impossible. And behind Haishan was Lu Feng. He suggested to be released from the barrier. Luozu scolded Lu Feng out of concern that he's only a newbie who entered their battlefield for the first time. Lu Feng replied to Luozu that newbies also needed to fight. Luozu wanted to let him fight, but at their current state, it was a difficult battle since the monsters were stronger than a C-rank world's difficulty. Then a huge monster appeared in front of them. Su Tao uses her magic to power the team up. She then reminded her team to not die in front of Lu Feng. The team attacked the monster all at once, but they were all swayed with one swing of the monster. But it was a very unfortunate position for Luozu being at the bottom. The monster tried to crush her with its foot while Luozu defends herself with her sword. Su Tao cried for her team's state while Lu Feng ordered her to release him. Su Tao then released Lu Feng. Luozu lost her grip to her sword as the monster smacks her arms. The monster picked up Luozu by her neck. Luozu didn't fight back, and at that moment, she accepted her fate. But before Luozu was even killed, the monster's arm was cut off by a weapon that no one saw since the slash was fast as the speed of light. The monster's arm fell to the ground, and with the dismembered arm is Lu Feng. Luozu fell, but Lu Feng managed to catch her. Luozu was shocked to see Lu Feng the newbie saved her. The monster growls while Lu Feng threw his sword, aiming the monster. The monster stopped growling as the sword swung through his neck. The team was impressed by Lu Feng, who instantly killed the monster with one hit. Haishan observed Lu Feng's attack being fast and accurate and that each attack aimed at the monster's weak point. Anya couldn't believe that Lu Feng was really Newbie. Lu Feng's level 1 turns into level 2 after he defeated the giant monster. With one swing, Lu Feng killed the monsters that was on his way. Lu Feng then suggested that the team must leave quickly since a monster nest were nearby their whereabouts and, in any minute, thousands of monsters will appear. Haishan thought Lu Feng could be a prophet for predicting a monster's nest they don't know about. Lu Feng pointed a way for them to escape. Lu Zhu then trusted Lu Feng and told the team to follow Lu Feng's guide. The team immediately dashed out. As they run, Lu Zhu was curious if Lu Feng was really a newbie, but Lu Feng replied sarcastically that he just turned into level 2. But Lu Zhu was really curious on how could Lu Feng has more knowledge than them. Lu Feng then got straight to the point that he had been trapped for 3,000 years. But Lu Zhu doesn't get it, and by her surprise, there was a monster behind her. Lu Feng gets his sword. As he fights the monster, he told precisely to Lu Zhu that on that day for 3,000 years and every morning when the sun rises, the time will rewind to the moment everyone was transported to the shadow world. Lu Zhu finds it ridiculous since Lu Feng cared if they live or not. Lu Feng responded that in every repetition, Lu Zhu always protected him. Lu Zhu died again and again because of Lu Feng. Lu Feng was pretty tired, but he's determined that no matter how many times it takes, he will find a way to send Lu Zhu and the rest away safely. Lu Zhu was touched with Lu Feng's hero vibes, but it was hard for her to believe. She thought Lu Feng's just trying to impress her with nonsense. Su Tao then asked if ever Lu Feng got bored fighting the monsters for 3,000 years. Lu Feng replied that he didn't just fight all the time. Lu Feng also researched all the professions, skills, and hidden elements given by the Shadow World system to the point that Lu Feng obtained information about other Shadow Worlds from the Awakeners that entered their world. Lu Zhu still thinks Lu Feng's been spouting nonsense and ordered him to stop talking like the second system in the Shadow World. But technically, Lu Feng did sort of became like that. Lu Feng guided his team to follow the end of the road and never turn back. Su Tao asked Lu Feng if he would come with them. Lu Feng smiled as he pat Su Tao's head and told her that they've been friends through countless life and deaths, and he promised that he'll find his companions again before they reach the end. Lu Feng stepped on the side of the bridge since he needed to go to do something else. Some monsters followed Lu Feng as jumped off the bridge and promised his friends that he'll catch up with them soon. He then looked down as he falls. Lu Feng looked like a shooting star as he goes down. On the ground, there's a blue-haired girl fighting the monsters on her own using a gun. She is the gunsmith of the team named Ling Yu. She noticed that the monsters adds up every time she kills one. But Ling Yu continued on killing the monsters. Ling Yu kept shooting the monsters who attempted to attack her. But unfortunately, she ran out of bullets. Ling Yu accepted her fate as she looks down waiting for monsters to kill her. But Lu Feng actually went for her and saved her from the outnumbered monsters. Lu Feng instantly killed the monster near Ling Yu before it kills her. But Ling Yu doesn't know Lu Feng. Lu Feng grabs Ling Yu and told her to take the elevator to the 13th floor and find the safe number 1302. The safe had all the ammo Ling Yu needed. Lu Feng then told Ling Yu the code of the safe, which was 0014. Lu Feng pushes Ling Yu to the elevator and clicked the 13th floor button. Ling Yu asked Lu Feng why would he help her as the door closes. Lu Feng replied that they were friends. Lu Feng swung his sword so fast that his attacks were seen as a light. He computed the time of his attack being 1 minute and 6 seconds. He laughed, assuming that after 30 years, he'll be faster than a second. On Lu Zhu's side, they were followed by countless monsters. The team runs for their lives. Anya assumed that Lu Feng might have tricked them since they followed the road but ended up in the tunnel. Su Tao calculated in their rate, they'll be surrounded by the monsters. But Lu Zhu told the team that they have no choice but to trust Lu Feng, until they saw Lu Feng in front of them. Lu Feng pointed the end part of the tunnel. He guided the team to keep running until they got out of the tunnel. H companions that he'll take care of it and grabbed a lighter. The monsters piled up from being too many and craves for the team's death while Lu Feng stood still. Lu Feng smirked as he teases the monsters that the tunnel was off limits. He then lights the lighter to cause explosion inside the tunnel. The team were all startled by the big explosion, but Lu Feng reminded them to not look back and keep running. And together, they all run before being caught by the fire. More monsters tried to run through the tunnel, but they were all caught by the explosion. The team managed to get out of the tunnel as the fire spreads in the tunnel. Lu Feng informed the team that he calculated the explosion radius, and the tunnel was sealed, and all the monsters died. Lu Feng told the team to move along to find a safe place. The team found a city with lights on. He brought the team near the car cables since they'll be safe in it for a while. Lu Feng hoped that his friends believed him now, but Lu Zhu still wasn't convinced despite Lu Feng being so strong for a newbie. Anya also wasn't convinced since the city they're in, the maps and explosives aren't hard to obtain. But unlike Su Tao, she really believed Lu Feng. He asked him what his activities were for the past 3,000 years. Lu Feng admits that it was a very long journey, but he did learn a lot of things. He learned how to fly a plane. He learned programming and coding, and all sorts of medical and surgical knowledge. And he also mastered every type of Go and similar strategic games. Anya told Lu Feng that the Black Ruined City is a large shadow world. She assumed that there should be more Awakened transported in their time. She then asked if Lu Feng knew anybody aside from them. Lu Feng responds that he knew most people, and he also discovered a lot of secrets through his time, but the ones he truly cared about were 7 people. Su Tao realized that there were 3 other people Lu Feng cared about aside from them. But Lu Zhu still doesn't believe Lu Feng and thought he's still spouting nonsense for living the same day for 3,000 years. But Lu Feng understood and respectfully says his goodbyes to his friends. Lu Zhu finds him a sweet talker and wonders what will happen since time will rewind as soon as the sun rises. But Lu Feng's intention at that time is to bring them back safely. Su Tao was impressed to see the cable cars move all of a sudden. Lu Feng then jumped right in the cable car. As Lu Feng mentioned before, he learned programming for a while and hacked into the city's electric system to get the cable cars moving. Later that night in the carnival, a steel monster appeared. The monster was the Black Ruined City boss named the Steel Winged Giant. A group of armies fires their gun and kept on shooting until the monster was gone. But the steel monster was invincible and swung the armies with one blow. The soldier desperately screamed for help as the monster grabbed him to hold captive. The leader in the soldiers' unit immediately warned them to retreat since the information that was given to them seemed to be a fraud, until they saw a shooting star going towards the steel monster. It was Lu Feng who arrived. The woman then warned him to get out since the place were extremely dangerous for a level 2 like Lu Feng. Lu Feng turned around and his intention was to lecture the armies how could they defeat the steel monster. Lu Feng was caught by the steel monster. The steel monster then attempted to grab him. Lu Feng got his sword in position, while the woman assumed that Lu Feng will die. But by their surprise, the fingers of the steel monster cuts off. With Lu Feng's single slash, the army was in Odyssey a level 2 newbie being able to harm the steel monster. The steel monster's weak point is its right hand pinky and ring finger knuckles. Since Lu Feng injured the steel monster will go into its second state called the steel rope giant. The steel giant then released multiple steel ropes from his back to kill Lu Feng. The woman wondered how a low rank could dodge all the steel monster's attack perfectly. While Lu Feng fights the steel monster, he gives the army a lecture to not let the monster go to its third state because the monster will unleash countless space sword attacks and everyone will die. Lu Feng stabbed the steel monster. He stabbed it repeatedly by being fast, until a part of the steel monster's boy was dismembered. The woman was hooked as she watches the battle. Lu Feng proceeds with another lecture that while the monster was injured, it will expose its control center. Lu Feng then stabbed the monster onto his forehead where the control center was. He stabbed it until a huge button appeared. Lu Feng then stabbed the button to kill the steel monster. The steel monster then shuts down as Lu Feng destroyed its main power. The steel monster exploded while Lu Feng landed on his feet. The armies were astonished, and the woman felt like she's going insane to witness a newbie single-handedly the horrendous steel monster. After the steel monster exploded, a big round light appeared in front of Lu Feng. As Lu Feng touched the light, his level increased to level 9. Turns out, the bright ball was actually a giant mechanic's egg and it has 1 in 10,000 chances of it to drop from the steel monster. But Lu Feng was disappointed since it will all be a waste again. Then the city became bright as it announces that the Black Ruin's final boss has been killed. Since the mission ended, all the Awakened will be transported after a minute. Lu Feng's friends heard the announcement and they couldn't believe that Lu Feng actually killed the boss. They started to think that Lu Feng might be really telling the truth. But it didn't matter for them whether he's telling the truth or not since they'll find out anyway once they go home. If the team didn't see him once they go home, then Lu Feng was really telling the truth. Lu Feng stood in the middle of the demolished ground and waits for the time to rewind as he holds his trophy. Every morning at 6 am or when the boss was killed, Lu Feng will return and start the day all over again. He stood still and wait, as he was transported in the first place all over again. He says farewell to his friends. He closed his eyes and hoped to see them again. The next day he woke up being shocked. As he opened his eyes, he wondered where he could be. He saw himself in his bedroom. He then checked his clock to see the time and date. Lu Feng jumped excitedly as he looked at his window. He was so happy to be back at last. After all the endless days with constant fighting, it finally ended. He then checked his personal information and he saw that he still had his level, which was level 9, and his profession and title were none. His undistributed attribute has 0.300% health points, 200% magic points, 30% strengths, 15% physiques, 20% agilities, 30% wisdoms, 15% intelligences, and 21% charm. He then saw the egg he got from fighting the steel monster. He analyzes the information of the steel-winged giant's egg with its rare rank, and the type of it was hatching with an unknown condition. Lu Feng wonders what the question marks would mean, though he knows 7 ways to hatch an egg. He then heard a knock. A girl named Lu Yao came in. Lu Yao wondered when did Lu Feng came back, and she thought someone broke into their home. Lu Yao was mad to Lu Feng, who made her worried all day to the point where she almost called the police since Lu Feng doesn't pick up his phone. Lu Feng immediately hugged his sister for missing her so much in 3,000 years. But of course, Lu Yao doesn't have any idea. Lu Feng cherished his time with his sister and hugged her tightly. Lu Yao felt awkward and pushes her brother away. Lu Yao then scolded Lu Feng about him being gone all day. Lu Feng explained that there was an emergency in his workplace, and he went to help but his phone died. Lu Feng hoped her sister doesn't get mad since he got his pay and promised her to buy the full almighty set that Lu Yao wanted. Lu Yao's mood changed and decided to just prepare a food. Lu Feng mocked her that he wanted the Sichuan boiled beef, braised fish, and baby lobster. Lu Yao was annoyed and told her brother to eat whatever she prepares. Back then, Lu Feng's parents and her sister got into a car accident, and it took the life away of his parents, including Lu Yao's legs. Lu Feng held his sister's hands and promised to not care what the doctors advised. He will make sure Lu Yao could walk again. Lu Feng informed his sister that he had been learning medicine and surgical procedures in his spare time, and he would like to perform it on his sister. Lu Yao was annoyed again and thought his brother was treating her like a guinea pig. Lu Feng was distracted by the news stating that everyone was aware about 5 years ago when a large number of dimensional gates appeared and the world changed dramatically. And in Lu Feng's world, many people were selected by the Shadow World and began their otherworldly adventures and was known as the Awakened. These people risked their lives to change their destiny. Lu Feng was familiarized when he heard the news about the Awakened. Back to the newscaster, the Awakened was people who gain supernatural powers and claim all sorts of professions, but can't grasp their own fate. The Awakened could choose to enter a shadow world, but every once in a while, some will get forcefully dragged into an unknown world and dangerous world. There was also a rumor that only when the god rank shadow was successfully raided, all the shadow worlds will disappear. The newscaster then invited a guest who's known to be the guild leader of Ark. He was also known to be the world's #1 Awakener guild. The man was named Alston. He was current strongest Awakened in the world and is also known as the Guardian of Hope. Alston has successfully raided countless shadow worlds and a legend among all Awakeners. Alston is the representative for justice, and he even told everyone that one day, all Awakened will be liberated. Lu Feng was furious when he heard Alston acting like a hero, but the truth was, Alston's real nature is a demon. On Lu Feng's 3,000 years journey, he witnessed Alston hunted all the Awakened and used the Awakened's life forcefully to recover his injuries and killed everyone off, including Lu Feng. Alston's real goal was to make use of his Awakened identity to control the world and become the god. Lu Feng swore to himself that he'll avoid Alston in all circumstances until he became strong enough. Lu Feng immediately thinks of establishing his own guild to take Alston down. He typed and searched all the names of his friends on his computer. The results showed that according to the scholar L he met in the Shadow World, the next time the Awakeners get forcefully transported, it will be to a catastrophe rank Shadow World. The first thing that came up to Lu Feng's mind was to make sure his friends will survive, until Lu Yao came in to invite her brother to eat breakfast. But while Lu Feng was distracted, in his room where the steel-winged giant's egg was displayed, the egg was slowly hatching. Later that day at the Awakened Service Center, all the Awakeners had gathered to watch Alston on the news. They all idolized Alston and even fantasized of joining Alston's guild called Ark. They didn't even think that most Awakeners wishes to build their own guild. They all just wanted to join Ark. But inside the service center, Lu Feng was there to file his application on creating his own guild. Other Awakeners were underestimating Lu Feng because of him being a low ranker. They believed that he must be at least at level 50 to build his own guild. The receptionist asked Lu Feng to submit a rank item from the Shadow World as collateral to approve his request. The receptionist promised that they'll return the item back after a week. The Awakeners behind Lu Feng was laughing at him for being a level 9 Awakener. They wouldn't stop thinking of him so low. But Lu Feng brought the egg along with him, and made everyone shocked, including the receptionist. Turn out the egg was an S-tier treasure. All the Awakeners were still speechless while Lu Feng reminded the receptionist on how to take care of the egg. The receptionist informed Lu Feng that if his guild has less than 3 Awakeners after 6 hours, his registration will fail. Lu Feng sent his request to his friends Zhao Haishan, Luo Zhu, Ling Yu, Lai Shijun, Ziya, Anya, and Su Tao. In Lu Feng's mind, he will do anything for his friends to join his guild. Meanwhile, at London Kendo Center, Luo Zhu was there training with swords. She heard her phone rang while she was busy. Luo Zhu thinks that Lu Feng was a liar for telling them that he was trapped in the same day. Luo Zhu immediately declined Lu Feng's request. And for Anya, who seemed to be working at a corporate job, also received a notification of Lu Feng's request. But sadly, she also declined Lu Feng into the military base. There was Zhao Haishan, who's busy delivering a technology robot from the shadow world. He also received the notification of Lu Feng's request, but he immediately declined the request, thinking that it might be a spam message asking to buy health products. But Lu Feng kept calm despite his friends rejected his request quickly. Lu Feng decided to assemble the other three first. And later on, there was a gang cheering as they all defeated their gang opponents. There was a blue-haired woman who seemed to be bossy. Her name was Ziya, who's an ability user. Ziya was actually defending her underlings who was being bullied. The man was mad and immediately shoots his rifle to Ziya while calling her an arrogant chick. But Ziya, who's an ability user, stopped the bullets that made it float to the air. Ziya made the bullets go turn around and throws back at his enemy. The man wasn't hit by the bullets. Ziya used her telekinetic power and made the man float. She reminded the man that his underlings didn't took his stuff and even threatened the man to never pester them again or she'll crush the man's gang. Ziya threw the man and made his body bang to the wall. Ziya's underlings were all cheering for her. But Lu Feng arrived and called out Ziya for causing trouble everywhere. Lu Feng didn't even introduce himself yet, he instantly told Ziya to join his guild called the Breaking Dawn. Ziya made fun of Lu Feng for being a level 9 Awakener who has the guys to recruit for his guild. Ziya's underlings came forward and provoked Lu Feng to show his strength while they think that a level 9 Awakener is just a basic human strength. Lu Feng didn't hesitate to show his monstrous strength. He used his attack called the basic skill, Straight Fist. Ziya was standing still while her underlings were all swooshed away. Ziya was aghast to see a newbie's basic skill being a destructive power. Lu Feng informed her that even if it was a basic skill, with the proper angle, direction, and speed, the power could unleash strong, devastating power. He even advised Ziya to do her research and practice 1,000,000 times to do such destructive power. But Ziya still wasn't satisfied and proceeds to challenge Lu Feng using her attack called the Mental Power Burst. Lu Feng effortlessly avoided all the attacks, and Ziya was caught off guard when Lu Feng was immediately behind her with a sword on her neck, calling her being not too fast. Ziya thought that it wasn't fair for Lu Feng to use a weapon to their sparring. But the weapon Lu Feng used was just one of his abilities and made Ziya startled. Lu Feng offered to compete with mind power that Ziya specialized in. Lu Feng's challenge was for them to both use just out of mind power to knock off the cans. Lu Feng made a deal that if he knock off more cans then Ziya Yan will join, and if he lose then he'll be Ziya's underling. Ziya's underlings were all cheering for her as she uses her power. Ziya managed to knock off 5 cans in front of her. The underlings were all proud and cheering while thinking that Lu Feng won't be able to knock off more than 5 cans. Ziya teases Lu Feng that he'll decide to surrender before he attempts the challenge. Lu Feng closes his eyes and concentrates. He then intensely opened his eyes as he uses mind power. The rest were all stumbled when Lu Feng uses his skill called the basic skill, Mind Spirit Disruption, and was able to knock off all the remaining cans. The underlings were all appalled to see that Lu Feng didn't even left a single can unscathed. Ziya was amazed with Lu Feng's monstrous power. Lu Feng reminded her that she could do it too once she starts training hard. Lu Feng then reminded Ziya to join his guild. Ziya made her promise and hoped that Lu Feng will teach her how to properly use a mind power to achieve a master rank effect. Lu Feng replied that he'll make sure that he'll make Ziya the most powerful ability user. He welcomes Ziya as he walks away to continue with his plan. After that day, Lu Feng went home and called for Lu Yao. But Lu Feng couldn't see Lu Yao's presence, and saw a note that was left for him. Lu Feng smirked to see his busy little sister growing up too fast. He then decided to eat dinner until he received a notification. He saw that Ling Yu has responded to his message. Ling Yu actually agreed to join his guild as a way of thanking him for saving her back in the shadow world. But Ling Yu will only join temporarily, but Lu Feng reminded her that being an assassin isn't the only way of living. On Ling Yu's side, she was currently busy being a waitress. She responded to Lu Feng that knowing too much could be bad for him and to not contact her if the message was unnecessary. Lu Feng promised Ling Yun that he won't let her rot in the darkness for long and will pull her to the light. It also made Lu Feng remembered that he only has 4 hours left, yet only 2 people joined his guild. Later that rainy night, there was a poor boy being ganged up and was beaten badly. The thugs kept beating him up despite the kid being a wimp. The thug snatched the boy's things and beats him up, yet the kid doesn't fight back. But the boy was just holding back since he's an awakened who's also a person with a monstrously power strength who doesn't want to fight humans. But the thugs wouldn't stop being mean and even had an inhumane thought of selling the boy to the black market to get decent money. The boy tried his best to hold back, until a mysterious black silhouette came out of him. The boy's name was Lai Shijun and he's an awakened. He stood up as he begs his powers to hold back, until a huge werewolf came out of Shijun and he lost control. The monster attacked the thugs, and made them all run away as they feel fear towards the boy. But unfortunately for the thugs, they were all caught by the bloodthirsty monster. While the monster smirked as it was getting what it wants, but Shi-jun's monster became more tense, and unluckily it even attacked innocent civilians, and caused havoc around the streets. The monster chose one of the innocent people, and it made the monster more powerful and hungry for chaos. Shi-jun was whimpering for losing his control to the monster, while the monster kept destroying things and infrastructures around the streets. Shi-jun's monster was called the Nightmare Fox and was noticed by one of the citizens. The woman even dared to make the innocent man to stop the Nightmare Fox, but the man was just a level 16 newbie who will die if he fights the Nightmare Fox. The Nightmare Fox was getting closer to the innocent people, until Lu Feng arrived and made a whistle. The Nightmare Fox turns around to see Lu Feng being on top of the street light. Lu Feng glares back to the monster, but the bloodthirsty fox was not pleased to see the presence of Lu Feng. The fox immediately ran through Lu Feng as he stands still. The woman assumed that Lu Feng might be an expert, while the level 16 man was scared for Lu Feng's life as he searched Lu Feng's data that he was just a level 9 newbie. The Nightmare Fox kept charging its attack to Lu Feng while Lu Feng dodged it too fast. That made the two innocent civilians curious. In Lu Feng's mind, the Nightmare Fox was really strong, and if he didn't train himself countless times against it, then he won't be able to handle it. Lu Feng realized that the Nightmare Fox will only get more enraged with time, and he needed to end it quickly. Lu Feng provoked the fox by running away. The Nightmare Fox chased Lu Feng like it was leading to its trap, but Shi-jun kept crying as he warns Lu Feng to run away or else it will kill him. But Lu Feng was running towards Shi-jun to grab him as he runs away. The Nightmare Fox came closer and touched Shi-jun's head, but the Nightmare Fox didn't attack. Shi-jun slowly sucked the entity to his body, until the monster was completely gone, being inside of Shi-jun. Shi-jun was so scared and thought it was fortunate of him to be recognized by the beast. But Lu Feng corrected him that the beast didn't attack because it recognized him, but because the Nightmare Fox was Shi-jun all along. Shi-jun was deeply confused. Lu Feng remembered the first time the Nightmare Fox appeared. It was Shi-jun's first time being in a shadow world, and he was being attacked that time. Shi-jun unconsciously summoned the Nightmare Fox when he was just a newbie at level 1 with Nai Profession. The Nightmare Fox will split to Shi-jun's body and come out whenever he's in danger. The more Shi-jun suffers, the more berserk the beast will be. Shi-jun felt all the pressure when he realized that he might be responsible to all the chaos, but Lu Feng reminded him that he's not a regular human but an awakened that only appears in 1 in 10,000 of awakened. Lu Feng believed that Shi-jun has a powerful ability, but he must learn how to control it or else it will cause more damage to the society. Lu Feng even pictures a scenario that Shi-jun's ability might destroy the whole city someday. Lu Feng cheered him up by calling Shi-jun a strong kid that can bear anything. Lu Feng knew that Shi-jun is an All-Stan fan and that he collected many of All-Stan's figures because Shi-jun wanted to become a hero like All-Stan. Shi-jun was curious why Lu Feng knew half of his personal life, but Lu Feng just responded that they were friends who faced numerous life and death together. Lu Feng then asked Shi-jun to join his guild and promised him to teach Shi-jun on how he can control his beast. Shi-jun immediately agreed with Lu Feng's offer. The next day, there was a portal. It was a portal to the D-rank shadow world which was about to start. But a group of Awakeners couldn't proceed since they still need 2 people. Until one man received a notification of Lu Feng's data, and all of a sudden, Lu Feng and Ziya arrived. The guard made a rude comment to Lu Feng, though he was alright with Ziya, who's a level 24, but he believes that Lu Feng was too weak. But Ziya defended Lu Feng and told the guard that Lu Feng's her boss and she won't join unless Lu Feng goes with her. Everyone kept underestimating Lu Feng and thought it was weird for a level 9 to be the boss of a level 24 girl. They assumed that Lu Feng and Ziya might be a couple, and Ziya is just giving pride to Lu Feng. The guard just went along and reminded everyone to get ready to leave in 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, the guard made an announcement that everyone should start to enter the portal. But before they go, Ziya remembered that Lu Feng mentioned about Shi-jun who should be going to train with them. But Shi-jun actually has makeup lessons and couldn't come. Ziya wondered how could there be makeup lessons despite the world becoming more and more dangerous under Shadow World influence. Ziya was curious about Lu Feng choosing them to join his guild. Lu Feng replied that the next forest will be to a catastrophe rank world, and he thought that if they were all in the same guild then everyone will be transported to the same Shadow World, and Lu Feng believed that his way will make them survive. But Ziya still Lu Feng isn't capable enough to protect them since he's still a level 9 Awakener, but Lu Feng ensures that Ziya will know the reason soon. After their conversation, they all went inside the Shadow World. First to enter was the guard and followed up by the rest. As they entered the Shadow World, they felt chilly. They found themselves being on top of the Blizzard Cliff, a place called the D-rank Shadow World, gray-toned snowfield. Ziya was struggling with the weather since she was only wearing a sleeveless crop top. Everyone went along with their journey despite the super cold weather. They continued to walk. The bald man wondered if there were anyone had come to their whereabouts before. But based on the pink-haired girl's observation, she believes that no one ever visited the place before due to its lack of resources. One of the Awakeners joined their conversation that the D-rank world they went in should still apply the same rules like fighting a monster and kill them for magic crystal drops and defeat the final boss and leave. But one girl was distracted by a pretty blue butterfly and decided to touch it. All of a sudden, the girl's hand became frozen. The girl felt all the pain when her hand shattered from being frozen, and it caused everyone to panic and decided to fight the butterflies. The bald man warned everyone to be more cautious, but unfortunately, more butterflies came to attack the rest of them. Some of them began to feel hopeless and screamed for help. But his yelling didn't help and got himself frozen by the butterflies. Lu Feng gave Ziya knowledge about the place they're at. There was a nether butterflies, and the butterflies were attracted to a human's body heat. Lu Feng told Ziya that if they won't continue to move, then they'll soon have to face a sea of butterflies. The bald warned everyone to leave immediately while he was running. He was concerned about Lu Feng and Ziya, who stayed behind. The bald guy assumed that Lu Feng might be scared already and felt bad for letting Lu Feng join them. Ziya asked if they'll go just like the rest. She even made a conclusion that maybe Lu Feng knew something about a treasure hidden in the area. Lu Feng told Ziya that the area was only for her. Turns out, Lu Feng wanted Ziya to train with the deadly butterflies. While Ziya fights for her life, she thinks Lu Feng was insane. Lu Feng gave his instructions to Ziya that she can only use her mental burst to attack and have to focus each attack to kill just one butterfly. But Ziyan thought it was impossible for her to do such power since the smallest she could only condense her burst was to the size of an egg. And it was difficult for Ziya due to a huge number of butterflies. But Lu Feng smirked with a thought in his mind. He used his power to demonstrate his ability to Ziya, and with one blow, the butterflies who came closer to them were annihilated in an instant. Ziya was once again amazed by Lu Feng. If Ziya didn't see it with her own eyes, she wouldn't believe that for a beginner-level skill and mind disruption could be used as a powerful ability. After Lu Feng fought off some of the butterflies, he gave a tip to Ziya that she should first focus on compressing her power burst, and with her talent, Ziya should be able to compress it to the size of a grain. The next thing Lu Feng taught was for Ziya to control the path of the power burst she shoot out. He advised Ziya that speed and angle shouldn't be ignored. But Ziya thought that it might be a little hard since she's not insane like Lu Feng. But Ziya did what she was told to and fires her shot to a single butterfly. And for Ziya's next training, Lu Feng told her to kill 2,000 of butterflies, and every time Ziya accidentally killed more than one, then 2 butterflies will be added. Lu Feng gave Ziya a countdown while Ziya was a bit pressured. Lu Feng left Ziya for her training so he could rest for a while. As he rested, he reminded Ziya to not slack off so she could practice properly. Ziya was teased when Lu Feng left her alone with her training, until an army of butterflies came against her. After the butterflies charged in, Ziya ran away and wanted to go home. Ziya went running to Lu Feng begging him to go home instead. But all Lu Feng did was give Ziya a potion. Ziya analyzes the bottle, but she trusts Lu Feng and drank the potion immediately. The army of butterflies went through against Ziya, but luckily Ziya wasn't frozen to death because of the potion she drank. She thought that she might have drank a stealth potion. Lu Feng corrected Ziya that she only drank an F-rank heat resistance potion. But the potion could also be used to prevent heat from emanating from Ziya's body. Lu Feng gave the potion to Ziya so she won't be affected by the deadly butterflies while she trained. Before Ziya moved along with her training, she asked Lu Feng if he already knew that they're going to Grey Islands in the first place, since Lu Feng seemed to be prepared. But for Lu Feng, Ziya could ask questions, but in return she shouldn't stop with her training. Ziya finally began her training. But as she trains, she wishes for Lu Feng to answer her curiosity. In Ziya's knowledge, the Shadow Gate only shows the rank of the Shadow World behind it, and it would be impossible for an Awakened to detect the place behind the gate. Lu Feng truthfully answered the question that he was able to detect it since he's equal to 99% of the Shadow World system. When Lu Feng was inside the Shadow World for 3,000 years, he gained the ability to tell what's behind the gate using some clues, laws, and calculations. In Ziya's case, she thought that she'll be useless if she's on Lu Feng's place since she has a bad memory even if it gave her 10,000 years. Yet, she still doesn't believe that Lu Feng was trapped for 3,000 years. But while Ziya was training, it seemed that she still wasn't successful with what Lu Feng wanted to achieve for her. Lu Feng then decided to add more 6 butterflies for Ziya to fight. Meanwhile, somewhere at the Grey Islands, most of the Awakeners were frosted to death, but there were a few who survived. They wonder why would the rate in the D-class Shadow World could be so high. The bald guy had noticed that the monsters in the Grey Islands has an ice attribute and it would be difficult for them to fight. Just when they escaped the butterflies, another huge creature that looked like a red grasshopper appeared to annihilate the rest of the Awakeners. The bald guy alerted the rest to be careful, but this time, the monster who appeared seemed to have a fire attributes. The Awakeners tried their best to fight off the monsters, but the creature was too huge for them. The monsters swayed their limbs to the Awakeners and made them all instantly stumbled. The bald guy realized how hassle it was to be attacked inevitably. The rest of the Awakeners were slowly defeated, until the last one to be attacked was the bald guy. The bald guy recognized the creature when it got closer to him. The creature was an elite rank called the Void Ripper. The bald guy knew that his fate will be not good. Back to Ziya's training, she was so jolly that she managed to be successful on her training. She happily called out Lu Feng to tell him that she finished her first training, but Lu Feng was nowhere to be found. Ziya was weirded out when she got abandoned, but she guessed that maybe Lu Feng has other reasons. Back to the bald guy's situation, only the two of them was left alive. The pink-haired girl shivered and was crying out of being terrified. But the bald guy was still determined to fight off the Void Ripper despite him knowing that he has no match, until he was stabbed by the Void Ripper and left the pink-haired girl alone. The Void Ripper looked directly at the pink-haired girl and was about to attack her until Lu Feng arrived to slash one of the Void Ripper's limbs. The Void Ripper screeched out of pain, and all of a sudden, Lu Feng annihilated all the Void Rippers. The pink-haired girl recognized Lu Feng because of his low rank that caused attention earlier, but there was one Void Ripper left. But Lu Feng doesn't wish to just let it go and instantly decapitated the head of the Void Ripper. The pink-haired girl thanked Lu Feng for saving her, but for Lu Feng, it was just a coincidence that he was able to save the pink-haired girl. He hoped that he won't be bothered since he still has other things to do. He then threw the head of the Void Ripper on the edge of the cliff. The pink-haired girl was curious with what Lu Feng just did. Turns out, Lu Feng just offered the head of the Void Ripper as a bait for the bigger threat below them. The creature below looked like a huge centipede. The pink-haired girl realized that Lu Feng's objectives were to lure out the final boss. Lu Feng informed the pink-haired girl that there was not only one threat but two finals boss going against them. The edge of the cliff starts to shake, until it broke in half, until all of a sudden, the finals boss named the Frostborn Titan Centipede attacked Lu Feng SND the pink-haired girl. Lu Feng alerted the pink-haired girl to get back while two centipedes were hungry for human blood. The pink-haired girl wasn't prepared to face the final boss and had no idea what she could do. But Lu Feng doesn't want to be bothered and advises the pink-haired girl to get out of the area immediately. The centipede charged against Lu Feng with its bright red eyes flashing. First, the centipede uses sharp ice to shoot against Lu Feng. Lu Feng went straight to the sharp ice and slashed it with his sword effortlessly. Lu Feng successfully shattered the sharp ice, but it won't stop aiming at him. He managed to dodge the sharp ice. He jumped so high that he got onto the centipede's head. He managed to step on the centipede's head when the centipede unconsciously gave him an open spot. Lu Feng went above the head while the pink-haired girl thought that Lu Feng might have lost his mind. Lu Feng then draws his sword and pierces the head of the centipede. The sword causes a huge and bright lightning to the centipede's head. The centipede then felt the agony on being stabbed. While Lu Feng was on top of the centipede's head, the other centipede went above him to annihilate him. But Lu Feng didn't stop on pushing down the sword through the centipede's head. But the other centipede crawled past to Lu Feng and didn't bother him and decided to hide underneath and left one centipede to be defeated by Lu Feng. The pink-haired girl was horrified that the centipedes didn't even give Lu Feng a one single scratch. Until then, the ground became demolished and slowly cracked wide open. The pink-haired girl was left on top of the cliff while the two centipedes fell with Lu Feng. Lu Feng doesn't want to stop until he succeeds. He was irritated that splitting the centipede wide open was a bit difficult, but he managed to slice the centipede in half. He then jumped to the other centipede and sliced the head to be decapitated. The two final bosses were defeated and not even an hour had passed when Lu Feng faced the creatures. After Lu Feng defeated the final bosses, he had obtained a rank B item called the Frost Blade ×1. The Frost Blade has a certain chance to be dropped after killing the two centipedes, and has a chance to trigger the ability of the Frostbite. The Frostbite ability will temporarily slow or stop an opponent once they're hit. Lu Feng was glad that he got what he wanted by earning decent new equipment who aren't inferior to the grade in terms of power. After the final boss was slain, the gates had finally opened. But the pink-haired girl on top of the cliff realized how she's been underestimating Lu Feng and even thought that Lu Feng might be walking into his own grave. Meanwhile, Ziya was busy with her training until the butterflies disappeared on her sight. After their journey to the Grey Islands, only 3 of them had survived, and outside the gate, there was 2 Awakeners who were shocked to see that there were only 3 survivors. But Ziya was annoyed since she wasn't done with her test. But Lu Feng had observed her determination and considered Ziya to pass the test. Ziya was excited if her and Lu Feng are going to have another journey in the Shadow World. But Lu Feng was too tired and decided to have a 2 days rest since he had his hand full. Meanwhile, on Anya's side, there was a man trying to console Anya about him getting fired despite him working for 30 years under Anya's corporate. But Anya wasn't intimidated, not scared for her company's reputation for firing a veteran in her company. Turns out, she found out that the company's investment funds that was used for Ease Biological and the funds used to acquire Co has been embezzled. She then threatened the old man to let the authorities to investigate the matter. The old man began to panic and made it obvious how guilty he was. He then apologized to Anya and reasons out that he was a diligent worker for years. Anya was willing to forgive the old man only if he could return all the money he had stolen. If the old man could return all the money, Anya could also give him a retirement home for free. The old man walks away with shame in his soul. But Anya's secretary walks in to give her a report that Lu Feng already left their office building after countless of times on being persistent. The secretary asked Anya if should they arrest Lu Feng. But Anya thought that it's just a minor inconvenience and even assumed that Lu Feng might be just a pervert. The secretary left Anya's office. Anya then enjoyed her coffee while gazing at her window. And outside her view, there was Lu Feng joyously waving at her. All of a sudden, Anya received a notification from her phone. It was Lu Feng who creepily texted Anya by calling her a beautiful woman who stares at him outside the window. Anya texted him back to inform him that she's just watching out for her stalker. Lu Feng's response even made him look more like a stalker by guessing what Anya was wearing. Anya replied that Lu Feng's just a pervert who lied about being trapped for 3,000 years. Anya was a bit annoyed at Lu Feng, until Lu Feng was blocked by Anya. He also texted the rest, but only Su Tao and Zhao Hai replied. Zhao Hai was busy while Su Tao was willing to negotiate if Lu Feng helps her at her math homework. Lu Feng realized how impossible it was for him to recruit his old friends when Liu Zhu was in Europe while Tao Tao's in Japan, and he doesn't know Zhao's whereabouts and his recent rejection from Anya. Lu Feng decided to make an unorthodox plan since he only has 10 more days before the great catastrophe. The next night, Lu Feng had brought together all the people who agreed to be part of his guild. While they were walking, Lu Yao told Lu Feng that she's just a nominal member and that she doesn't need to join the guild's official events. But Lu Feng already posted the rank mission that Lu Yao wanted on the dark web. Lu Feng also has knowledge about the rules of a hitman and that Lu Yao was obligated to come along with the guild. They finally reached their destination and Lu Feng made an announcement that he brought them all together to train. The place looked like a restricted area of the military. Shi Jun realized that they're at the military base. The guild didn't doubt Lu Feng's plan while Ziya asked about the other 4 members who didn't show up. Lu Feng answered Ziya's question with confidence that the rest are on the way. They proceed on attempting to enter the military base. Lu Feng and rest was too close on the entrance and made Shi Jun confused that their presence wasn't detected yet. Turns out, Lu Feng hacked his way into the main system of the military base and made sure that no one will bother them. Lu Feng hacked the system by making a fake system alert that the X-rated Shadow World hazardous gas have been leaked and the place must be quarantined for 15 days. After Lu Feng hacked the system, the military base will be their playground for a while. While Ziya on his side was deeply astonished with Lu Feng being a jack of all trades. But it was all nothing for Lu Feng. After all, he obtained different types of skills by being trapped for 3,000 years in the Shadow World. Lu Feng also hacked the system by making himself as one of the highest authority when the system detects him. The place they went to was the N805 army base. Lu Feng was looking forward for his guild's training later then. They went inside of the 565 astronaut simulation training chamber. Ziya wondered if they're going to space or will fight the Martians from Mars. Lu Feng's guild had imagined so much, but they're actually there since Lu Feng needed some equipment for their training. Lu Yao thought that it'll be pointless for her to be trained like an astronaut. She thought that Lu Feng's might be wasting her time. Until their training starts and timer runs from a machine. Lu Yao was actually the first one to use the equipment and it seemed like she already failed. The equipment they were using was actually a simulation. And based on the database, Lu Yao's spaceship were manning in the simulation and was smashed into smithereens. Lu Yao knew that the simulation was already fixed, but she wondered why Lu Feng wanted to adjust it. But with Lu Feng's programming skills, he could make some minor tweaks in the simulation. Lu Yao was amazed with Lu Feng's capabilities. Lu Feng confessed that he spent decades studying the engineering of spaceships and ecology of space as his hobby to kill time. The next one who tried the simulation was Ziya. She was astonished by the experience. But Lu Feng scolded her for enjoying too much since his first objective was to train his guild's mental capacity. After being scolded, Ziya checks up on Shi Jun. For Shi Jun's case, he seemed to be okay. But based on the statistics, Shi Jun was required to constantly dodge the incoming asteroids. The simulation was perfect for Shi Jun's mental strength and suitable for his psychics. And for the shooting test, it was meant to be tested for Shi Jun to train his focus. After hearing out their errors, they proceed to try again. Lu Feng initiated the simulation and clicked the monitor to begin. The 3 of them gave different expressions. Ziya starts with her shooting test. Lu Yao being spinned around and Shi Jun being trained for his mental state. While Shi Jun trains, Lu Feng appeared on the screen telling him that the dual mode will push both his focus and mental state. He guides Shi Jun to learn how to control and breathe. Shi Jun tried his best to do what Lu Feng advises him. The timer kept running, and after their training, they all had enough. But Lu Feng doesn't want to stop and tried to convince his guild to go for more rounds. Shijun told Lu Feng that he'll try his best while he's whimpering, and for Ziya, she kept whining. And as usual, Lu Yao kept an emotionless face. Lu Feng was a strict leader. He smirked to his team and called himself a benevolent for just wanting the best for his team, since they'll soon face the catastrophic level Shadow World. 1 week later, in the S-17 recovery room, the three of them was inside of a container, and inside was a glowing water with them floating in it. They finally got out of the container, and the first one to come out was Lu Yao. Lu Feng praises Lu Yao for having a great recovery speed. He then told her to move along to test her results of her first training. Lu Yao was put inside of the S-35 artificial battle arena. Lu Yao seemed ready while Lu Feng made a countdown until the test begins. A gate opened inside the arena, and there was an army of dog-looking creatures going against Lu Yao. But Lu Yao was fierce. She uses her gun to shoot all the robots. But in her mind, she's having a blast. One by one the robots were defeated. But Lu Yao notices that when a time passes by, the robots became faster. But Lu Yao managed to handle the situation. She jumped and was on top of the robots and swirl around while shooting consistently. Lu Yao was able to easily handle the robots despite the speed increase in Lu Yao's test result. Her target accuracy has increased to 35%, and the targeting speed has increased by 40%, and the target destroying rate has increased by 42%. Lu Feng was impressed, but he believed that Lu Yao should put more work on her controlling the recoil after pulling the trigger. The next one to be tested was Ziya, who's in the S-26 artificial gravity chamber. She was enjoying her moment since she was used to being in no gravity, until the huge balls around her starts to aim her, but she managed to stop the balls by using her power. While she was holding on to the 2 balls, more of it came to target her, but she was able to handle it by using her power called the Mind Berry. Lu Feng analyzes Ziya, and he realized that Ziya could handle 6 balls. He decided to increase the number to 40. Ziya panics, thinking that she won't be able to do it. But Lu Feng meant what he said and immediately increased the numbers to 40. More balls came in, while Ziya was having a difficult time. At that moment she thought she was going to die and even thought of her own funeral. But Lu Feng wanted to challenge her. He advised Ziya to compress her psychic powers to the max and that she'll be able to release it all at once. Ziya was so pumped up that her eyes glows. She released her powers with all of her might. Ziya managed to block all the balls using her power called the psychic field. After being successful, she was so happy and even thought of conquering the world with Lu Feng. But Lu Feng, in his mind, he wasn't surprised since he's confident with Ziya's capability, and also could become the future queen of psychic awakeners. Lu Feng made sure that he'll make Ziya his ace card of his newly established guild. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more content like this. Leave a comment for the next part, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.